Okay guys, so today we're going to be talking about mixed division. Think about it, as we went through this process, we went through multiplication, we went through multiplication of whole numbers and fractions, fractions and fractions, and multiplications of mixed numbers and fractions. Division wise, we did division of whole numbers by fractions and division of fractions by fractions. So the last thing that was left for us to do is division of mixed numbers. Okay? So before we get started in it, I want to bring it back. Now the roadmap has stayed up here. I've left it up here on how we convert whole numbers to fractions, but I want to go back over it with you guys so that we can talk about it so you can remember. Okay? So, 2 1/2. Remember, this is not a fraction. This is a mixed number. So we must convert it if we're going to work with it as a fraction. So, to do that, I have it down here. We do whole number times denominator plus numerator. Let me fix that plus symbol. I notice I always do this in blue. It's just like the road map down there. Okay? So I do whole number times denominator plus numerator. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. And my denominator will stay the same. So I get 5 halves. Okay, that's how we convert our mixed numbers to what's called, remember this is an improper fraction because our numerator is bigger than our denominator. But we must get it to 5 halves to work with so that we can multiply our fractions or divide our fractions. So, with that being said, let's look at a problem with division. Alright, let's look at a problem with division. So let's take what we have here. 2 1/2 divided by, let's say 1 1/4. Okay? 1 1/4. Alright? And it's going to be the same thing for 1 1/4. We're going to have to do this, okay? So remember, so for division, and I was talking about this when we did whole numbers as well as when we did fractions, alright? For division, we must do our conversions first because I don't have fractions here. These are both mixed numbers. I can't work with them until they become fractions. Alright, so let's do that. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So we got that 5 halves that we were talking about a while ago. Alright, 5 halves. Alright, and some of you are skipping this step today, and we talked about it. You got to stop skipping this step. Keep it set up. I'm still dividing. Okay, I haven't changed anything yet. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I get 5/4. Okay? Now, have I done all my conversions? Yes, I've converted both mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, now I'm ready for operations. So, for operations, I know my operation is division. How do I divide fractions? I divide them by multiplying by the reciprocal of the divisor, right? So, to know which one's the divisor, we have to read the mathematical sentence. Remember, the first number is the number we're dividing by. All right, this is what I have. Remember, we talked about that on the homework. This is what I have. I have 5 halves. I'm cutting it or dividing it by 5/4. Okay? So our divisor always comes after the division symbol and is 5/4. This is our divisor here. So when I come down and I say to do division, I must multiply by the reciprocal, right? The reciprocal of the divisor. So that gives me 4/5. Now, my dividend will always be the same. I bring it down, 5 halves. And look how nice this has worked out. Alright? So for you folks that don't like to cross reduce, look at what I have set up. I have fraction times fraction. I'm here. Right? I'm back to here. This is where I want to be. Now that I've got the fraction times fraction, I can cross reduce. Some folks were trying to cross reduce up here. We cannot do it until we have everything set up. Alright? So I can cross reduce. I can cross reduce here, 5 and 5. They both got the 5 in common, so that becomes 1. This becomes 1. I've got 2 and 4. Well, I know 2 goes into 4 how many times? 2 times. 2 goes into 2 one time. Now I can multiply straight across. That gives me an answer of 2 over 1 or 2. So my answer to this problem, 2 and 1/2 divided by 1 and 1/4 is 2. Okay? Now remember, guys, don't skip these steps. Remember that common error I talked about today. Some of you were trying to come here. You guys were trying to come down here. And before we did anything, before we found a reciprocal or anything else, you just went straight multiply. And you left it without multiplying it by the reciprocal of the divisor. So you were trying to multiply straight across. Do not do that. This is the common error, folks. This is the common error. Make sure we keep the division symbol until we multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? Make sure we do not forget that step. All right? Remember, guys, remember your steps. I do my conversion, then I do my operation. Once I've got everything set up where I can multiply, then I cross-reduce and work the problem. All right? Those are the steps for mixed. I mean, that's not even just for mixed numbers. It's for anything. You can cut out the conversion step if it's fraction divided by fraction. Other than that, guys, this concludes Unit 2. All right? If you got any questions, make sure you're asking me about it. And hopefully we'll get to take the test on Thursday. All right? If you guys have any questions, make sure you ask me.